Hey there. It is Wednesday, the 23rd of September, 2015. Let's review some comic books, shall we? Starting off with Red Sonja, issue 18. Gail Simone's final issue on her run of this comic book. End of a two-part arc. Um, I forget when the first part came out. It felt like over a month ago. But anyway, end of the this two-part arc here that began with Sonja going to protect a library from an evil queen who wanted to burn it down. Uh, at the end of last issue, she basically told the knights that were sent to burn it down to fuck off. You know, this library is under my protection. And in this issue, we start off first with kind of story time with Sonja being read a story by one of the priestess librarians. Um, this story is, of course, both kind of a parallel for Sonja's childhood and an own origin story, because it involves a redheaded girl having her parents killed, but also serves as kind of a foreshadowing for the rest of this issue and how the fight's going to go down. But after her army was defeated or kind of scared away by Sonja the Queen, in this issue decides to send her three best warriors, kind of the elite assassination squad at her disposal. And Sonja, even knowing how powerful these guys are, and even thinking to herself that she can only take one, maybe two of them down, decides she's going to put up her last fight. She thinks against these people, and it is an amazing fight. It only lasts about half the issue, and then the other half is kind of a coda, an epilogue, so to speak. But this is one awesome final fight. And I'm just going to show you the page where it begins. It is amazing. Sonja pops out from the ground behind the assassins as they ride in towards the library, and like it's one of the most awesome battle entrances ever. I think just like the way they set it, the way that Gail Simone and Walter Giovanni set it up and everything, it's just an amazing entrance and an amazing start to this final battle. And then as the battle goes on, like Sonja wins, of course she's gonna win, but how she does it is really amazing. How she picks them off one by one and plays to their weaknesses, and everything like that. And then the end, the actual kind of finale to this book is very sweet. In the first issue of this arc, in the last issue rather, it was revealed that Sonja is illiterate. She doesn't know how to read or write. And so at the end of this book, she stays with the librarian. She learns to read and write a little bit. And it's just really sweet. It really rounds off her character, kind of completes her kind of her arc of like kind of calming her down, softening her edges and stuff. She's still, a badass devil. Like she's, Red Sonja. She's the she-devil. But throughout Gail Simone's run, we've really seen her become nicer. She's made friends. She's fought for people instead of just for herself. We've seen her begin this run with, as kind of not a mercenary, but like a drifter who only fought for, or only like set out on a mission because like it would free a bunch of like slaves, which is selfless, but like it's her own experience. And then this final arc here, we have her fighting to protect books, which she doesn't think are important at all, but risking her life to do it, and then learning to appreciate the things that she's protecting. So it really does kind of come full circle. Really, it's a sweet ending. It's a good ending. It feels like a well-deserved ending, and it's an awesome final fight to go out on. This run, it ends with a bang. It is really cool, and Sonja even gets a haircut at the end, which looks good on her. It's a neat little haircut. I'll just show off that panel and remove from everything else. It doesn't really spoil anything, but there, nice short hair, pretty cool in my opinion. Next up, another finale, another writer's last issue on their run. It is not Gail Simone, Kelly Sue DeConnick on Captain Marvel. Her main series ended a few months ago, but now Kelly Sue's last Captain Marvel comic, as of now, is this Captain Marvel and the Carol Corps issue 4, the Secret Wars tie-in. And this is, again, just a really cool balls to the wall kind of ending that begins with the Carol Corps under attack by the Thors, and Captain Marvel deciding that she's going to play decoy as the others flee. Of course, they don't flee. They come back to help their captain, and I'm just going to get to the page where they all it's a badass spread, and you have the Thors versus the Carol Corps in this dogfight. That's just it's really cool, and it's pretty much only this one page. But then we get a really cool kind of one-on-one between Captain Marvel and Kit, who's a Thor right now, and so we get a really cool battle there. It's just like this is just kind of an all-out battle as opposed to Red Sonja, which started as a battle and then ended on kind of a sweet spot. This actually ends again like Red Sonja. It ends with kind of a really good capping off of everything Kelly Sue has done with this book. In the beginning of, and I mean this book as in the Captain Marvel character, but even within these 4 issues, it comes to a nice kind of full stop and a nice fulfilling ending. Pretty much since I started reading Kelly Sue's Captain Marvel, like the big thing was reaching for the stars, punching the sky. Higher, further, faster, more has been like the big anthem of Kelly Sue's Captain Marvel, and this ends with exactly that sort of image. It ends with, you have the fight with the Thors, you have the Captain Marvel and her Carol Corps fighting these unsurmountable odds. These literal gods who drop from the sky, and they're fighting the sky god. Thor is god of thunder and storms, whatever. They're fighting the sky god. They beat him, and then they go further, higher, further, faster, more. They break that barrier. They touch the sky. They punch the sky rather, and it's just a great. Just a great bow on this gift of Kelly Sue's Captain Marvel run. Really good final story. Really good final just issue. And the last few pages, they're almost they're inspirational in a very kind of space race kind of way. In a very JFK, we will go to the moon this decade and do the other thing, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. It's that sort of feeling you get reading the end of this book, and just feeling like like breaking the sky, breaking the sound barrier, pushing your limits, doing all that. It's that sort of book. It's that sort of ending, and just really, really good, fun stuff there. Next up, we have Batgirl, issue 44. Yes, we got the number right. Yeah. Issue 44. As you can tell from the cover, there's a bit of romance in this book. And just to discuss it, because we're discussing it because it's on the cover, I feel it's rushed. I feel that they're introducing this romance between Barbara and Luke Cage just to... It's not Luke Cage. Fuck. Luke Fox. Just to add sort of relationship drama. I don't think it's done well. I don't think it feels rushed overall. I mean, I like the idea, I guess. I'm not opposed to romance in comic books, but it's like 2 pages at the very end of this issue, and they kind of hinted at it last issue, but even then they played it off as they were Bat family together. They're just close. They're not romantically close, and then it's just 2 pages they kiss. Okay, I guess that's what's happening now. But before that, I quite like this book. In the last issue, Barbara's friend Joe and Alyssa's fiance Joe has been kidnapped by Velvet Tiger. In this issue, basically Barbara fights Velvet Tiger all issue, or a good most of the issue. From the second page, we have the introduction. They have a short fight here, and then Velvet Tiger makes all of Barbara's shit explode, so she has to kind of recover. And then there's a round 2 later in the book where they go and rescue Alyssa from kind of a Bond setup. Bond villain, big cats hanging. What do you expect me to say, Mr. Bond? I don't expect you to say anything. I expect you to die. That sort of thing. And again, another really cool entrance, bursting through the glass. Not as clever as bursting from the ground, but the classic's a classic, I suppose. And in the last issue, Barbara fought a tiger. In this one, she fights 2 tigers. And Velvet Tiger, their kind of human leader. And I really like how this fight scene begins. As you can just see on this page, the way she takes out the tigers is really well done, really cool, really kind of fluid there. But the fight gets harder and harder to follow as it goes on. Like even in this next page here, this top third of the page, I have no idea what's happening. Velvet Tiger's leaping at Barbara. Barbara taps her foot or something, and suddenly Velvet Tiger's falling on the ground. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. And then here, again, the top third of the page, less confusing, but still not as good as the initial tiger fight going on. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, the relationship stuff is at the very end of the book. It is the second to last page of the book. It's basically Luke saying, "Hey, can I kiss you? Sure, let's kiss. Okay, I guess we're dating now." Out of nowhere, really. And because it's the next, it's the penultimate page, it leaves a really sour taste in my mouth, because it's just, "Hey, let's kiss now." Okay. No build-up whatsoever, or anything. Besides that, I don't know if there was a new artist on the book or just a slightly different art style. It feels more kind of Miss Marvel-y, the art, especially in the faces. The faces are rounder and kind of more pouty overall. Like this face in particular, right here, just feels like something Kamala Khan would make, straight out of the Miss Marvel book. Don't know if that is actually new for this issue or from just noticing it now. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Batgirl number 44. And the last issue this week, because it's a short pull. Next week's going to be pretty short too. I think only 7 books. But the final book this week is Grayson issue 12. And every issue, I love this book more and more and more. In this issue, we see Dick Grayson return to Gotham and basically go on a welcome home tour, meeting everybody again. He catches up with Bruce, who, of course, has lost his memory and just doesn't remember Dick. Dick actually goes and meets him in disguise. So that's actually Alfred. So he meets Alfred, goes in disguise. He tries to catch up with Bruce and see what's been going on with him. And then Spiral interrupts. There's a quick fight with Agent Zero, finally, of Spiral, who goes to retrieve Dick Grayson, doesn't like him abandoning Spiral. And then there's the rest of the team, pretty much after that. Dick catches up with Jason Todd and Tim Drake. He catches up with Barbara, and they have a really sweet moment on a bridge as she jumps off and he follows without any rope or anything. And then he meets up with Damian, and it's amazing. I love just this page where he catches up with Damian, and Damian just jumps and rolls and gives him a great big hug, because it really shows how close they were. And if you read Morrison's run when Dick Grayson was Batman and Damian was his Robin, they really bonded, and you haven't had much of their interaction since the New 52. So it's always glad when they go back to that and then remind the reader, like, these two were really close. These two were, kind of like Bruce and Dick are close. Dick and Damien are thick as thieves, I guess. But of course, it's more than just that. It's more than just niceties. Dick Grayson has does all these meetings with dual intent. There's a code in this book. It's not a new code. Hint, hint. It's a code that we've seen before in the Grayson books. So if you read it really carefully, you can figure out the last third of this book before any of the other characters do, except for Dick, who planned it. And it's that sort of thing that I really enjoy about this book, that every issue isn't just a good story. There's a little bit of a game to it. There's a little problem to solve. And that's always fun, just to read and participate and interact like that. So yeah, Grayson still a fantastic book that I love picking up every month. And that is it for this week's pull. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like it. If you want to subscribe, any comments, questions, anything whatsoever, please leave them below. And yeah, thank you for watching again, and I hope you'll join me next week for some more comic book reviews.